Hi, welcome back to the shed for episode 6 of the Great Guitar Build Off 2023. And in this episode, we're mostly going to be dealing with the headstock. And you might already know that I am actually struggling a little bit with this headstock. I'm finding it really difficult to make a decision on what I wanted to do. I thought I had a very good idea, then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind a second time, and a third, and a fourth. So to try and find a solution to this, I got the paper out and I started to do a little bit of sketching and tracing and drawing to see if I could find some inspiration. And I did that for about half an hour and didn't like anything that I came up with. So it was at this point that I did what I often do in these situations, is I walked away from it. I went to get a cup of coffee and I had a sit and I had to think about it. And my thoughts led me back to the initial plan that I had. And in particular, it made me think, what exactly was wrong with that plan? Because if you think about it, I'm building an Explorer that's kind of got elements of Firebird in it, so the initial plan to have a Firebird headstock would make very good sense. And I realised that it was actually seeing the Lizzie Hale model guitar that had put me off it. So my next thought was, what exactly was it about that guitar that put me off the idea? So I broke out the laptop and I had a look, and it occurred to me that there was two things. Firstly, the picture that I'd been looking at the most was actually a picture of the guitar in an upright orientation. When I looked at a second picture where it was more in the playing position, I thought, actually, that doesn't look too bad at all. However, the initial plan was to have the headstock reversed. So to see how that would work, I took the picture of the Lizzie Hale guitar, I imported it into GIMP, and I switched the headstock round. And a light went on, and I realised that this is potentially what I'm looking for. But just to be sure, I then jumped back into the workshop and I mocked the guitar up and I put my Firebird headstock template in the position that I'd want it to be, just to see what I thought. And this is what I end up with. And I think that looks really nice. I think the upside down headstock really does work with the way that the body's configured, and I'm happy to go with that. I also feel a little bit stupid because I could have just done that 3 or 4 days ago and saved myself hours and hours of struggle and strife and worry. But hey, we got there in the end. That's the main thing. Now, I fully understand that this has the potential to be absolute Marmite. Some people will love it, others will hate it. Personally, I think Marmite is the devil's rancid earwax, so I can understand if there's strong feelings one way or another about this. But I've made my mind up. I'm not going to prevaricate any longer. This is what I'm going to go for. It's not without issue though. If I get some of this stuff moved out of the way, I'll try and hold this in position. The headstock isn't currently thick enough. We do need to add a little bit more material in. It's not too much. It's probably about 25 mil on the top side, and maybe it's not even 10 mil on the bottom. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of get this positioned. It doesn't have to be absolutely spot on initially, but I'll get it kind of positioned. And I'll draw around what we've got just so we know how much material we need to add on. And on the top, that's looking to be about, it's only about 16, 17 mil actually. And on the bottom side, yeah, 7 or 8 mil. So we've got plenty of scraps of maple knocking about. I'm going to get a few over to the bench, see if I can get something that kind of matches in with the figure, and then we can get it cut down and glued into position. And looking at it, we've got this lump of timber which initially came off from there, so we're actually using the same bits of wood, so it should be fairly straightforward to find a match for this. So I'll get this to the bandsaw, just dimension it down, and we can get it glued on. Okay, so there's those two little bits cut. I've given them a quick clean up with a hand plane. So we'll just get those glued on. Kind of line them up as best I can. Now if you remember when we put the angle on the headstock, I actually left it a little bit thicker than it needs to be. So there is a little bit of room for adjustment on this. So I'm going to leave this, probably leave it overnight for the glue to dry, and then we can come back and look at getting this headstock shape cut out. Then it really will be too late. Okay, so there's those two little ears glued on. I've drawn the shape on, so we'll get this back onto the bandsaw and just kind of very roughly cut this out to where we need it. I just want to break away from the build for a minute because we've had a few points raised in the comments recently which I think are worthy of a little bit of additional exploration. First of all, it was pointed out to me that when I thickness mahogany for the body wings, I actually ran it straight through the thicknesser twice and ended up with the thickness that I was after. What was pointed out, and I totally agree, was that I should have first planed one of the faces on the planer of my thicknesser and then use that as the reference face for thicknessing, and that way I would have got a perfectly flat and parallel board. And as was again correctly pointed out, there was a bit of twist in those pieces of mahogany. Now there's a couple of reasons why I didn't do as was suggested. Firstly, and it's just me being a little bit lazy, to transition from planing to thicknessing on my machine is a bit of a fiddly nightmare. So I try to avoid it if I can, especially if I'm under a little bit of time pressure to get a video out. Secondly, and more importantly, I knew at that point that this wasn't going to be the final thickness and that I had some material left to play with. And also it is worth bearing in mind that that thickness was quite pronounced, but when we cut these pieces of wood down to their final length, it was less pronounced because there was simply less material to be twisted. And then again, when we cut it down to its final shape or close to its final shape, there was less width as well. So again, that twist has been reduced, and this is a relatively flat surface, and you can see there is a little bit of twist in there, but it's hardly anything. What I will do when I establish what the final thickness of these needs to be is I will simply set my marking gauge up to that thickness, and then I'll mark that all the way around using one face as a reference, and then take that down with a hand plane until I hit that line all the way around the piece of wood, and that will take any twist that might be there out of it. So I hope that answers the question. It was partially a little bit of laziness on my part, but also an understanding that this wasn't the final deal and that there were other ways of getting this exactly how I wanted it. And another thing that's come up quite a lot in the comments recently is what people are getting from the channel. Now, obviously, a lot of people are saying they're kind of getting a better understanding of how to build guitars. A lot of people are saying they're getting enjoyment from watching what I do. But quite a lot of people say they find the channel quite therapeutic. And that really is music to my ears. I have a very good understanding of the benefits of having something like that in your life, where you can escape, get your mind off things, relax, and just enjoy yourself. And that's a big part of my decision to build the shed in the first place. At that point, I was working in a very, very stressful job, and I just needed something in my life to get me away from that for a little while. And all of that was expressed very, very eloquently in the comments by a young chap called Josh, who I've had a number of conversations with. I can't remember if it was on Instagram or Messenger, but we have conversed at length in the past about projects that he's working on. So I suggest go back and have a look at that comment on the last video, because he does make some very, very good points and he expresses them probably better than I am at the moment. And that brings me to a couple of points. I've spoken to Josh, I'm pretty sure it's on Instagram, in the past, and I've helped him out with a couple of issues that he's had on his builds and tried as best I can to point him in the right direction. And I'm happy to do that for anyone, basically. If you feel that I can help you, just make contact. Follow me on Instagram, join my Facebook page, and just drop me a message, and I'll be happy to help where I can. The second point, and it's kind of related to that, is the effect that me asking for people to subscribe has actually had on the channel. I was very, very pleased with the amount of people that did hit that button. But having now had a week to kind of go over things a little bit, I've been able to look at the analytics and see what effect that has actually had. And it's quite clear to see that at those points when people subscribed, both the amount of new viewers that visited the channel and the amount of impressions that YouTube put out there for the channel increased substantially, which for me is absolutely amazing. So thank you to everybody who hit that button. And if anyone's wondering how you can help the channel, how you can help support me so I can continue to invest in the channel, invest in the builds and do bigger and better things, the simplest thing you can do is just hit that subscribe button. Anyway, enough of all that. Let's get back to the build. Okay, so there's the rough outline cut. It's actually a really difficult thing to do because this is quite a long and ungainly piece of wood at the moment, but I've got most of it off, but there will be quite a little bit of routing to do, especially in this little area here. So we're going to have to take it slightly easy. So first step in that, as always, it's a bit of super glue and masking tape. And we just need to be a little bit careful, make sure we get this lined up properly. That looks spot on. So we'll get this in the vise and break out the small trim router just to get this cleaned up. And again, we're just going to take the small Katsu trim router and whiz around this. We'll probably do it in 3 or 4 passes just to make sure we're not taking too much material. And I still maintain that this is probably the best £40 or 40 something pounds you can spend on Amazon if you're into this kind of work. It's absolutely brilliant little tool for the money. So I'll get my ear defenders on and we'll just start working our way through this. There we have the finished headstock, and I like it. It's a little bit unbalanced in terms of the laminations on the neck. It was always going to be so. There's no way around that really, but I don't think it's so unbalanced that it's going to be a problem. The front face is going to have a veneer on, so those stripes won't be visible from the front element, but all in all, very happy with that. And again, there we have our kind of best mock-up that we can do at the moment. And I actually think that really works well. I'm very happy with it. For all the worry that I had with the headstock shape, I do think it's actually come out very nicely. And I think it does really work with the shape of the guitar. It still looks a little bit clunky because we've still got all this added material on the neck, which kind of throws your eye out a little bit, but I can see what it's going to look like once we get it all thinned down. But I don't want to cut any of this material away until I've put the truss rod in, because I can use this straight edge as a guide. But I'm going to leave that till the next episode. So as always, like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.